all seem to be headed towards the place where we're going.
No, they seem to have picked themselves out a little piece of territory, and they were doing something. What that was, not sure, but it was kicking up a bunch of dirt and debris.
Like burrowing or like looking for something, or just
Seemed like it was digging a bit.
And we got a representative of the Mad Max faction on board here, right?
Yep, you guys have Elijah and a couple of his goons.
Elijah, what's the deal with those creatures?
I'm not sure. I mean, they kind of came after us, but when we left them alone, they kind of, we abandoned camp for a little while, and they left on their own.
So you didn't see them until you got the vault open? They were only ever inside the vault?
Yep.
I tell you, this is the thing. I show up on the world, and then weird shit starts happening. If I had a place to pace and wander off to, I probably would, but I'll just trail off.
So you guys don't have like any historical records or stories or anything saying like, hey, these things are a problem? Like,
nope, nothing about these things. We were kind of hoping we might be able to find something out about them in the vault, but we can't go in there.
Did they attack you? Eat anybody?
Yeah, well, they didn't eat anybody. They ate on them, but they just left everything, really.
So,
more of a mauling than an eating.
That's what I was wondering. That's the thing, is that they didn't try to swallow anybody, they just chewed on them like wild animals. They got a taste for you. Yeah. Alright. And they lived on those egg things that they had, or the crystal circle things that look like eggs. They were on all the terminals. Those things generate warmth. These things are a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're like solar panel powered.
Well, we know that there's
Heat.
geothermal electricity here, so that implies that there's warmth below ground.
Right. Well, then they're probably adapting. I mean, they wouldn't have been native. Maybe they are, though. Maybe they are native. Well, because they were inside the vault, and the vault was closed up. They would have had to have come here. What in the vault, unless the thing was cracked from the inside and they got in there somehow and kind of holed up. But it just feels like, here's the thing, that vault's been closed up, hardly any power, if it had any. Why would something from outside, where you got all this, geodesic energy, geothermal energy, and solar heat, they got all kinds of energy out here, and there ain't much in there. Why would they go in there on their own, unless they were there in the first place, and now they're out? They've been locked up in a cage, I guess, and, now they're out, and it's a smorgasbord for them. I just think they would have had. Why would they have gone in there otherwise? I think they came. Can we get Lincoln on the phone?
I believe you can. I think there is some sort of access, or you guys had some sort of radio access. Oh no, you had radio.
Talked to us on radio before, so we should be able to.
Right,
Yep.
and weren't we kind of relaying it through
The
Algo.
Algo?
Through Algo. Makes me wonder whether it has something to do with the exotic material examination sign that we saw.
Yeah, I just wonder if. Hang on for a second. Hey, Algo. I got a question for you to see if you can't dig around with Lincoln and see if he can't dredge up an old memory.
Hey, Joyce, before you do that,
Oh, sure, yeah.
I'm going to insist that you change the name of Algo to Vern.
What's Vern?
Hey,
It is-
Vern.
yeah,
Hey, Bird.
just to stay in character. That's all I'm asking.
His name was Valentine. Or what are you referring to? I'm thinking of Tremors, but what are you? Oh, Vern.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
My
Keep going.
Vern. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I wish I was doing a voice, but honestly, this is just like how I start to sound when I go back to visit my family.
I mean, more seriously though, this also feels like a good troublesome foul. We talked about this on the forums, but figure out what's the deal with these creatures.
Yeah.
Could be an easy group troublesome vow. Do we want to do that?
I'd like to as soon as I get the question started. So I got one roll to get the question started here.
Getting that question started can make progress on the vow.
That's an excellent point. Yeah, I'll flip it around then. I tell you what, I'd like to how should I put this? Well, I'll tell you what, I think we ought to figure this out. These things are gonna, if they keep getting bigger like this, I mean, there ain't nothing else in their way, and if they're just eating the sunshine, they're just gonna keep getting bigger until they swallow the whole damn town. We got to figure out what these things are, and that's apparently how Earl swears an iron vow. Okay, so is that okay?
I've already got a vow into the Wayfinder's character.
Oh, do you? You're already putting it in there? All right, when you swear upon iron to complete Christ, in this case, it's a tattoo on my neck. Write your vow, give it a rank, roll heart. If you swear this, I probably don't need to read out of character in that voice, but now I'm stuck. Fuck.
It's just a thing you do now.
This is who I am. All right, so roll heart. If you swear this vow to a connection, which I'm not doing, share bond, add +2. Ooh, add +2. That's different than it used to be. Bond used to only give you +1. Or
bonds are much harder to get down.
That's
Connections
fair.
are not.
That's fair. All right, I'm gonna roll my heart. No modifier. Bloop. What do we got?
Weak hit.
A weak hit. I'll take it. Nobody's beating that 10 anyway. All right, on a weak hit, you're determined to begin your quest with more questions and answers. Take +1 momentum and envision what you do. Well, I know exactly what I'm going to do to do a path forward. I'll take that momentum, thankfully.
That certainly is a thing.
All right, so we got a vow there, and the first thing I'd like to do is I'm going to try to secure an advantage with Elgo because I have a asset for that. Elgo the algorithm. Your AI module keeps watch over systems. When you secure an advantage by talking through a situation with the overseer, you may roll plus integrity. If you do, take +1 momentum on a hit. So I'd like, since he's relaying through to Lincoln and hopefully helping his slightly more whole self, at least in terms of being a functioning ship overseer, versus whatever Lincoln is limping along with. Hopefully, that's why I want to loop him into this. And they can continue the conversation while we're doing other stuff. So I'm going to secure an advantage with that, if that's all right.
I would say probably what you're doing falls more under gather information since you're searching for clues.
All right, well, I can do that. In which case, it doesn't do anything, I think?
Yeah, it doesn't give you any bonuses.
That's fine. All right. Let me, what am I looking for? Gather information.
It is a wits roll.
All right, I just wanted to look at it over here while I'm clicking. While I'm doing my clicking.
You want some help with that?
Oh,
not with wits. Never mind.
Well, wits is. I mean, I think I already shouted about Algo. So my gather information will still be kind of going through him, even if it's not a really bonus kind of a deal. And this will let other people kind of chime in with other suggestions if they feel like an assist. Because I'm just going to kind of put things out there and somebody else might go, but wait a second, why don't we think about this? Listen, there's some stuff down here in what looked like an old navigation center that sort of these, I don't know, silicon critters that seem to be feeding on heat, warmth, things like that nature. They got out of the vault that was down here and got out into the world. They're getting bigger. I think they were already on the ship when this thing came, on the original ship that settled here when it came down. I was wondering if you could help Lincoln dig around and see if he remembers anything about these things and what we could do to put a stop to them. And I will roll. You can get back to us whenever, but I'm hoping he might know something. And I'll roll my wits. Bloop. There's my little beep. That is a weak hit also. That I can't quite do anything about. Oh, so close. So close, but no. Weak hit on a gather information. The information provides new insight, but also introduces a complication. I am shocked, I tell you, that it introduces a complication. And take +1 momentum, which would have been helpful ahead of time.
So, as you guys are flying along and you've radioed this out to Algo kind of relays back to you after a little while. It's just like, I have communicated with Lincoln, and I believe we have some information for you.
Well, let's hear it.
All right. At which point the the radio switches over to Lincoln's voice and is like, yes, I have determined that the information that you're looking for is going to be stored on data block 48739.
Thanks.
I lost access to data block 48739 approximately 38 years ago.
Whereabouts would that
Location.
whereabouts would this data box be sitting?
Well, that entire cluster of data blocks are going to be located at the facility that you're currently traveling towards.
Well, all right then.
Convenient.
I'm like writing that number on my forearm, like a marker. 48739. All right.
Is
Good.
this a memory component that could be removed and brought to you, or do we need to connect you into the network there?
You can remove the data block and bring it to Lincoln. You can access it yourselves as well.
Okay then. I don't actually know the answer to this question. Does this? It's a weak hit. Does that count as advancing the what's up with the skates thing or no? I don't know.
Allow me to ask you this question. Does it feel like you've made some progress on your quest?
Yes.
I feel like we know what we need to go and do.
Well, that certainly does count as some progress. In which case, the mark doesn't work, but I know that it is 3 marks for a troublesome quest.
Indeed. Cool.
So, I'm trying to feel my way around sort of the different aspects here. So us traveling from one point to another, being out in the open, is that considered like undertaken expedition, or is that like a much bigger thing?
So it would be undertaking an expedition if you guys were traveling through dangerous terrain. If you guys were on foot doing this exact same trip, it would probably be undertaking an expedition.
Got it.
The fact that you guys essentially have the air car that drops this down from hours of travel to minutes, 15-20 minutes of travel for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, it's much less troublesome.
The thing you hear on the podcast with Sean Tompkin all the time when he's running the thing is it depends on the narrative. Like it like which move, or even if there is a move, really depends on what's going on in the story. So sometimes there's a roll, and then Go ahead.
Yeah, if you guys were hunting around blindly, yes, you would be undertaking an expedition.
Right.
We've heard that there's a city somewhere out in the desert that we need to track down, as opposed to here's the coordinates for the city.
We think there's a base somewhere out in the asteroid belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
as opposed to you guys saw this place from space. You know it exists.
We can literally point to it on the viewfinder, like it's out. It's right there.
It's on Google Maps.
Captain, it's right outside the view screen. It's literally on the view screen. I can zoom in. Do you want me to zoom in? It's right there.
Captain, we've granted already.
Cool. All right. Well, I got to do Earl's voice for the night. I'm good. Somebody else do something. My needs are very simple.
All right. Anything else you guys want to do, or do we want to arrive at Naravan?
Let's arrive. And if we didn't get the momentum from taking the shuttle ride last time, we get to track it down.
Yep. I don't know if you guys did or did not.
I did.
I think we did.
Okay, then good enough.
All right. Anyway, as you guys are nearing the place, things are slightly less battered than they were over at the last place that you guys had traveled to. However, it still has that general post-apocalyptic wasteland sort of feel to it at the same time.
Exposed to the meteor showers.
So anyway, as you guys are getting closer, however, let's see. So Bill, Cortex is flying the shuttle. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. So anyway, it's about now when you get a proximity alert on the on your view screen, and at first you're like, oh no, more bullets. This is this is just like the worst. No. This is actually an emplacement gun.
That's not
Expected. I
well.
don't know.
Welcome.
What are the guys that are with us? I mean, were they expecting? Did they expect this level of attack, or does that surprise them?
They are certainly like, as soon as the beeping starts, they're like, you can see them kind of, heads up, kind of like, oh crap, what's the noise?
Oh, but they're not. I mean, a gun like that they wouldn't have used against people.
Well, it's not clear that these guys have ever been to Navarin either.
True.
Actually, they have.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, Cortex, there are rounds heading your way. What are you gonna do?
I will dodge and get on the radio and be like, "Hey, we're friends."
All right. Well, we're definitely gonna be facing danger. First things first. Probably gonna have to handle with the dodging out of the way of the round.
I'll do that thing.
Yep. It is gonna be edge.
This is a perfect time for someone like me else who probably has a finer honed danger sense to assist if she feels like it.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely something that I can help with along the way. Either on the edge side or in the if it takes brute force to move something, pull over harder or something like that. Whatever seems the most on that, but yeah, definitely can facilitate.
Or just shouting like,
I can just picture Nails just kind of perking up and be like, they're about to shoot at us. Just from that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's this, oh yeah, they tend to drop off, on their arc really quickly. So if you get up above them, you should be good.
or yeah, like they only have they can only drop to like 25-degree declination. So if you go low, they can't shoot low enough or something,
Right.
any of that kind of crap.
Marjorie, I do have bad news for you.
What's that?
Since it sounds like you're focusing on your expertise, your knowledge of these sort of rounds, and your general observation, that means this is actually going to be a wits roll.
Yes.
Okay. And does that actually apply to?
You do still get your +1 bonus that you get for your loyalist asset. I think
Yeah, no, I was looking to see if there was something on the weapons master side that could help out, but that's more, again, Wallen. It's not considered personal combat, right? Or is this personal combat? Okay.
Not. Yeah, you're not facing down a person.
Okay. Alrighty. Do I help or hurt? Whoa!
All right. So on a strong hit, Bill, you get +2 momentum and +1 to your roll. And Margie, I believe your loyalist gives you +1 momentum. It's on a hit, you get +1 momentum.
Yeah, it's on a strong hit with a match that we get something else. So yeah.
All right, well, there's my strong hit for the dodge.
Very nice.
Yes, that is. In which case, you're successful. No downsides. Take momentum as well. Some more momentum.
Yay!
Love the momentum from when the dice really turn on you. I was thinking, and I shot this over to in the text chat, but should have Blaze be the one like shouting out some kind of peace thing while she's shouting instructions and your thing. He's like get on the horn and shout some sort of generic "We come in peace" benediction thing from his.
That's right.
From his
Yeah.
faith.
Yeah, go for it.
That definitely sounds like some Blade stuff.
And please pray first, because that
Yeah.
we're serious.
So
As just the prayers.
I went to
Okay,
the effort of foreshadowing a connection to the religious to the what's the faith called?
the faith of the prime
About-
coordinate.
Yeah. Since I threw out some foreshadowing a session or so ago about there possibly being some more of that out here, let's reintroduce
It's
it.
possible. I mean,
Yeah.
stranger things have happened. God has a sense of humor.
Who wants to shoot a
Okay,
priest?
so-
Nobody wants to shoot a priest, usually.
Yeah. Depends on the
They
priest,
might
I
want to
suppose.
hit him, but they don't necessarily want to shoot him.
Definitely depends on the priest. There you go. All right. So anyway,
We don't have priests. So I'm gonna. So what would this represent? If I'm trying to get them to stop shooting or try to, I'm trying to persuade them to stop shooting. So it sounds like a compel, but
I could
I
also
want
see this
to-
as a face danger just to get them to stop
Okay.
shooting and start listening.
reacting to an imminent threat. Sure.
Yeah.
face
Yeah,
So
face
That's
danger
exactly what
first.
this is.
Yeah, face danger first, then compel.
got it.
Face
Okay,
danger,
So,
then we can talk.
So the facing danger I'm trying to do is I'm thinking it's falls in that resolve command or sociability area.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Trying to reach out to them. So okay. So that is a heart roll.
What's he
and-
shout? I want to know what the sound what he's saying desperately over the comms, or not desperately.
Well, the facing danger part is the prayer part.
Oh, love it. That's cool.
So I'm silently calling for God's blessings in helping me reach these people so that we can continue our journey.
I think you should be, doing it loud and proud.
I wasn't 100% clear on this. Do you have a separate move then that is like the calling on the benediction thing?
It's when I face danger or secure an advantage.
Oh, okay. It just applies. It
Then-
modifies
then-
those
then-
moves.
Then I make use of my linked stat, which is heart, and get stuff for it.
Cool.
I think in addition to whatever the benefits of the face danger are.
Sure. It's
Yeah.
like I've got a similar thing with Algo. So yeah.
Okay, so let me roll heart. Scroll up, go to summary. Let me roll heart. I don't.
What does your asset say? I wish the asset was like a thing like in Mass where you could click on the move and it just plunked it into the chat.
So
That'd be cool.
So I'm rolling plus the linked stat, so I don't modify it at all, and I will burn the momentum to make that a strong hit
All right.
because I.
Well,
Cool.
yep.
So let me go back to my character sheet. We go to my momentum. I'm going to say burn.
But you also take one momentum because you got a strong hit. So it goes back up to
And-
3.
So I got a strong hit. Okay, on a strong hit, I don't have a strong hit with a match though. Okay, so on a hit, I take one for my devotant. I take +1 momentum or +1 spirit. I think I'm gonna take.
Your spirit's already maxed out.
Okay, then I guess I'll take +1 momentum since I just took it out, and I take another +1 momentum
For your strong hit.
for the strong hit. So it's +2 momentum. Character character sheet. Scroll down. +4. Okay, so I faced danger. Now, based
So-
on that,
You've
Go ahead.
said something to these people that made them stop.
okay,
Momentarily.
What was it that you said? They've gone from, well, we're just going to shoot you guys out of the sky to, all right, you're still locked on, but we're not firing the gun anymore.
what have I said? I have said we bring hostages from the other side. No.
No.
I have said we're here to help. We're here to help all your people. Stop shooting. We're here to help all you people.
Please.
At which point you kind of get those crackly, like, crackly, a little bit of static over the comms, at which point they're like, all our people, you say. We're listening.
We're here to help the people of Nabaran as well as the people of Maricopa and the people of
Shackleton.
Shackleton.
Huh. All right. I'll tell you what. Why don't you? And he reads off some coordinates. And it's just like, sit down there, and we'll come meet you.
That doesn't
Very
sound
well, thank you.
so-
So, assuming you guys.
Shut down. Can we, make sure this doesn't look like it's a, sand skimmer pit or something like that.
You
Not
guys.
that I don't trust people, but I don't trust these people.
That is certainly a wise decision. Who wants to take a look? I would imagine, you guys kind of looking ahead beforehand. That's probably like a secure an advantage.
Yep.
I imagine a number of you guys could do that.
And Neil should lead it off for sure, but
I was gonna say, just as some guesses right now, Nails could do it with her expertise in danger. Cortex could probably do it with the ships, with the scanners here on the shuttle.
I could do it with through the power of prayer.
Yep, and Earl could probably do it by calling up to Algo and having the ship scan it from a distance.
I'm leaning towards Nails, like leading it off. I could certainly roll to assist. Having him having him scan as an assist to just the eyeball Mark 1. That's my inclination. That's just me securing an advantage, right? Securing an advantage with wits. Would it be wits?
Probably.
To call on Algo.
Yep.
All right.
Expertise, focus, or observation.
Sure. Give me a Earl. Where are you? Ooh, strong hit. Look at that. Okay, so handing over to Nails. +2 momentum and +1 on your next move, Nails.
Okay.
And
Thank you very much.
can't tell. Hang on. Don't hang on. I'll look at Algo's. Yeah, I was securing advantage, so that, and it's through Algo, so that does a thing for me, but that's not a big deal. I should have also apparently rolled plus integrity, but the number's the number, so it wouldn't have mattered at all. I still got a big hit, so that's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, integrity probably would have got you slightly higher, but
I was already a strong hit, so whatever. It modifies my momentum, but that's it.
yep, take your momentum.
I will do that.
All right, Nails. Another go with your favorite stat.
I tried
'cause-
to figure out how I can make it, edge, but not really.
Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't going to be speed, mobility, or agility. Unfortunately.
No, so I think what I'm gonna do is is kind of twofold. One is, in particular, look for anything that looks like, something other than, a meteor pockmark or something like that near where we're going. And then just my sort of general combat sense of, is there, where would people hide if they were going to come after us? What's the pros and cons of where they're asking us to sit down? And in that, I mean, if we have a little bit of leeway, if they're giving us coordinates and we were, deciding to be 10 feet off or 100 feet off, would that be considered wrong? I might make a recommendation that, okay, well, the mark is there, but if we go up this way, we get a little bit higher ground and can see them coming, is what I'm going to try for.
All right.
Okay, so I'm taking 2 from Joyce. Thank you very much.
2 momentum.
Two momentum plus 1 on your roll.
Yep.
1 on the roll. Okay, sorry.
So make sure your momentum is raised by 2 before you do the roll, because it'll do the math for you if you need it.
Yep. So even burning my momentum wouldn't get me to a 10.
Nope.
Can never beat a 10. Yeah. 10's a 10.
So it's a weak hit, so I may have some suggestions, but I might miss something, or...
Well, yeah, you do know some things. You'll be able to get some preparation off of this. However, which would you like? Would you like 2 more momentum or plus 1 to your next roll?
You guys think I'm sitting at 7 momentum right now. I'm thinking the plus 1 to the next roll might be better.
Yeah. The plus 1 makes it a lot more likely that a 7's going to be able to help you out. Probably. Or, wait, are you already at 7?
I'm at 7.
Yeah. I mean, boy. It's either...
9 momentum is 9 momentum.
9 momentum is lovely. There's nothing,
But you're going to be gaining momentum more often
than the plus
potentially
1s.
than gaining the plus 1s.
Yeah.
Well, and also if this turns into a fight, then I get a lot of momentum.
Yeah. That's cool.
Right.
Yeah. I'd go with the plus 1 then.
Okay.
All right. So Nails, after looking over the spot, is I imagine Cortex is kind of like, pulling the shuttle around to kind of give you a nice look over it. You're like, okay, this is a kill box. Based on the sight lines that they gave us, or based on the sight lines that you saw before with the guns that were firing on you, they basically put you in between 2 of them. If you guys park the shuttle away and hoof it the rest of the way there, based on the guns that they're using, A, they won't be able to take out the shuttle, and B, Joyce said probably a very accurate thing earlier, which is what you're assuming right now is those emplacement guns probably are going to have a hard time hitting a person-sized target.
Yeah. Or stuff on the ground if they don't crank down far enough, but that's, who knows. Maybe they're built for attack on Titan, in which case they shoot down just fine.
Right, I think that's a good recommendation.
Well, we park over there, walk in, instead of parking where the... Yeah, I like that.
All right, so Cortex sitting down behind some cover, and then you guys walk on out.
Sounds good.
All right.
Oh, now that we
I was
know
gonna
that
say, Cortex,
these people were not friendly, I mean, are we...
I would say they're suspicious. I wouldn't say that they're not friendly. They don't trust us. Killbox doesn't mean they're planning on killing us. A killbox just means they want to be at the most advantageous to themselves.
The most optimistic, battle-hardened veteran I've ever seen.
Well, it's true. I mean, where would you set up if you were them? Right here.
That's fair.
Right? So it's like you're not inherently, out for blood. You're just inherently out to protect yourself.
No.
I do mention to Cortex as we're getting out after we land. I'm like, well, at least I didn't add any, chip any more paint off of.
No, but they might. So
That's why we're parking her here.
So, Nails, I'll ask you another question really quick.
Yep.
having told Cortex how to keep his shuttle safe, would you say that this has helped you make it up to Cortex on, getting the shuttle shot up before?
My intent. I mean, the going ahead and rolling against my one wit, as much was to, make it clear that I was trying to protect the shuttle. So I would say that was the intent behind it.
All right. So, but does having done that make you feel as though you've made some amends here?
Say that I've certainly not made it worse. So yeah, I guess so.
All right. Feel free to mark progress on your make it up to Cortex track.
I like it.
And on
Yep.
on the troublesome one, is that I don't remember
3.
how this.
3 boxes.
Okay, but it's the same marks. I gotcha.
Nope. It's actually the
Asterisks.
hashes.
Ah, okay. Oh, I see what you mean. I
Yep.
gotcha.
3 whole
As
boxes.
opposed to the epic, which is like crawling along.
Yep.
Yep.
Got it.
The way the kids describe it is like you'd put one line in, or you get to put in an X, or you get to put in an X plus another line, or it's an X and then a plus on top of it. It's like the troublesome ones are 3 X's and 3 pluses, fills in the whole box.
All right.
Thank you.
So, as you guys get out of the mild-mannered mallard and head into the kill box,
Nothing
Not
is good
that-
about that sentence. I don't like any part of it.
not that long after,
Okay.
over on the ridge nearby is where you see 3 people standing. Walk up to the ridge, and they're looking down at you guys, and they're just like, one of them is just like, "Well, there sure are a lot of them, boss. Oh, how many do we have here?" And it's just like, one of them like puts out a figure, is like 7. Okay, so the figure that was being talked to is now addressing you all as just like, so who are you people where you've come to help?
Hey, we're here to trade, and we'd like to talk to whoever's in charge of your settlement.
Well, I'm in charge, and not sure that you have anything that we might need on your small craft, but I'm willing to hear you out.
Well, we are actually from the Astrid system, and we are working on getting gates reopened. But to do that, we need some information from this star system. To do that, we need to get the Overseer, Lincoln, back online. To do that, we need power, and to get power, we've come to you. What we're offering in trade is any supplies that you might need, the cooperation of the other settlements, which we've already talked to, eventual access to other star systems once the gate gets opened, and any of the benefits that come from that.
Oh, and by the way, can you see? Can you see the moon-sized ship from the ground? Like, can we
Didn't
say,
think it
oh,
was-
by the way, that's our ship over there?
The "that's no moon" thing might have just been me making a joke. I think it was just that it was an artificial. What did you call it, Mike?
Well, but there's our ship, which is
Oh, sure.
a modified asteroid.
That's fair.
Is what I think she's talking about.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the other one, the defensive thing.
Space station.
Yeah.
I just want to know how visible our ship is to the naked eye.
Well, when you bring up, have you seen, the guy's just like, no, I have not in a while.
Well, anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Outside and seen things, or doesn't know what it hasn't looked at.
Well, if we've overheard his dialogue correctly, if we've overheard his dialogue from the ridge, 2 plus 2 is he's blind.
See.
Yes. How many are there?
Duh. Okay, never mind. Actually, Nails would totally not see that, as it were. No pun intended.
Do we have tech levels that do our medical tech levels? I'm asking the group as a whole. Encompass, like, eye replacement kind of things.
Oh yeah, like one of the stock assets is augmentation like you get better limbs or better, body parts or whatever. I would have to think that eyes would be part of that.
I would imagine you guys have something back on your ship that could do it. Probably not on the shuttle, but definitely
No,
on the
not
ship.
shuttle.
Okay, so and that
Just hold it back.
something to trade
All right.
and something to help these people.
So, Bill, it sounds like from your negotiation here, you are wanting these guys to kind of open up to you guys and kind of, see you guys less as outsiders and more of people who have come to help.
Yep.
Yep. And so I imagine that is going to be a compel.
All right. As a trader, when you sojourn or compel, you may roll supply. If you do that, suffer -1 supply. I'm going to roll that.
Can I do assistance?
Yes, you can.
To aid that?
Yes, you can, Dave.
Okay.
I would imagine, depending on how you're doing the helping, if you're just trying to do it through words and making these guys feel like, you're all friends here, that's probably going to be a plus heart on your roll.
On your reverendness.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I will. Well, I will. This is something that's clearly moving our looking to move our overall mission forward. Certainly mine to get this star system in contact with the rest of the world. So I will use the power of prayer to try to secure an advantage for securing the advantage for Cortex in establishing this trade relationship. So that'll be hard anyway.
Yep. I'll go right ahead.
Okay, so that will be click over to heart.
Plot twist, they're atheists.
It very well could be. All right, that's a weak hit. Dave, do you want to give Bill a +1 to his roll or +2 momentum?
What would you like?
I'll take the momentum, please.
Okay.
They're from a very slightly deviant sect, Dave, which means they want to kill you on sight. one iota of difference in the dogma and pretty much means murder. We all know the bit.
All right. So,
I'm definitely going to burn to make that a strong hit.
Yep, I was going to say, you have the possibility of doing that. It didn't come up on the ship because the ship doesn't have momentum, but yep. All right, so that is a compel. So on a strong hit, they'll do what you want and take or agree to your conditions. Take a +1 momentum.
Hey.
So at this point, the gentleman is kind of like nodding along and just like hearing out your whole, your whole welcome speech, basically. At which point he's like, "All right, I think we can agree to this." And he kind of like looks over, nods over towards one of his men. It's just like, however, I think you should probably see what you're dealing with. And he kind of like gestures for all of you to follow along with him.
That's a fascinating way of saying it.
Mm-hmm. So they lead you further towards basically this entire thing, or this entire complex that they have is built into the side of a cliff. And you can see that this thing was built to be sturdy. As it's not Lincoln's bunker by any stretch of the imagination, but it was definitely one of those things where they're like, fortified against attack, fortified against natural disaster. This thing is as good as you can get without, there actively being shields going on.
Mm-hmm.
And would that be like, so this is construction prior to the shields going down?
Definitely.
Or after? Okay.
Also, I will also bring this up. So, by now having a dialogue between all three of the factions of idiots, it's safe to say that you guys have definitely earned some more progress on that track. So I have already gone ahead and added that in. You guys are 6 out of 10 on that.
Yeah, getting there.
All right. So as they lead you in, and now that you're out of like the blistering sun and whatnot, and you're inside in under some we'll say like some office light type situation, and you can kind of see these guys. One, the two people that are obviously guards, based on what they're dressed in, are much better, like armed, prepared, dressed than your friends here that you brought with you. These guys actually look like they would be prepared for some stuff.
As opposed to also the ones in the bunker who were more, better off, but not better prepared.
Yeah. The other part is when you're looking at them, you're like, all right, no obvious signs of malnutrition. These guys actually have muscles. Something's up here. This is definitely not like, at least one of them has like the sort of physique that you're like, all right, that is not getting maintained by scavenging for food. As for the leader, who introduces himself as Carter, he is, when you were talking about augmentation before, it looks like he's already had some done. It is not of the level you guys would, because he doesn't actually seem to have any sort of optics to see out of, but he definitely has some sort of neural link at the base of his skull. Based on, what a few of you guys may know, that would be the sort of thing that you would use to directly link up to, some sort of tech command center or something along those lines. For all you know, he was the one actively shooting at you with the gun.
I don't hold a grudge.
So maybe some kind of neural link to the thing. That would be it.
Anyway, as he kind of invites you all in, he's like, welcome. It's not much, but it's probably the last secure place on the entire planet. We've done our best.
We will take great care not to break anything.
Well, good, especially after you see what we're storing here. So he leads you out into an elevator, and this one actually works, unlike some of the ones that you've ran into over at the Mariposa base. And you can see, like, Elijah and crew are kind of gobsmacked at, what they're seeing here. They're like, probably under one of their breath, they're like, oh, this is our stuff, but not broken. But anyway,
it as such too, right?
And they've got some. These guys obviously have some modules. I can think of it as like the ship fell in 3 different locations. They each got some of the ship, So they've got like the food synthesizer and the med bay.
Or they've got regular power, and
sure,
therefore, can maintain the underground hydroponics farms.
Sure.
And
also that, yeah.
The machine shop and things like that.
Yeah.
So he, as soon as you guys are in the elevator, you can see him like reach over and grab like this very like. It's definitely like added after the fact, but it's a cable that will hook up to his Neuralink. He plugs in and he's like, now I can finally see you all. Well, I can see that you've also brought a contingent from the northern settlement.
We said we were here to help all your people.
Yeah, very well. I've been wanting to talk to them anyway. Thanks. Anyway, as soon as he says that, the elevator starts to descend. And as you're going down, you can tell one of the walls is glass, and as soon as you go down far enough, it goes from the steel wall into where you are now looking over a very large area. And as you're looking out, you can see far, but that is because most of the area is taken up with rows and rows of these large cubes that have these what best could be described as, pods. Several, we'll say about a dozen per each one of the cubes. And there are more here than you could even begin to count. It seems to go on for not quite as far as the eye can see, but much bigger than what you were ever expecting to see.
Well, it's going to take a little bit of time.
What do the pods look like? I mean, do they look familiar at all?
You could hazard a guess, but Carter is going to explain them as soon as anybody is like, kind of is like focuses out on them. He's like, oh yes, those are the cryogenic pods that we've been maintaining.
Really? How long? You say maintaining? How long are you talking here?
Well, I am the 30th overseer of this particular site. As I understand it from my predecessor when he explained the job to me, this goes back all the way to whenever the disaster struck.
Knowing that the planet couldn't support the volume of people without the shield.
Sure.
You all have seen the shield. So you do come from up in the sky.
Well,
We do. Not shield, but the shield generator.
I will say, parenthetically, their life expectancy still isn't great, even here, if they've gone through 30 overseers, because we're talking unless he's counting from a different great catastrophe, because we're like 4 generations, unless we're further than that, and Mike, correct my thinking, but on our side of things, it's like 4 generations back since the gates went down.
I could have been overestimating. Basically, assume
he's been doing this a while, or they've been doing this a while.
Yeah, they've been switching out a proper amount. There's probably a few of them who are like, oh no, health complications.
Sure.
And may have, ceded overseership to somebody else. And he'll basically explain it to you. It's like, oh yeah, we run a bit of a skeleton crew around here. We only pulled people out when we need to.
Did you say 30th or 13th? Or 13th? Oh, 13th. Oh, thank Christ. All right. Wow, that is a treasure trove. Because if there's people here that are in there from, they're gonna know more, and we're gonna. Okay.
They might know more about the gates, or about.
They might know more of the gates, the
shield
more of the
generator.
shields. They might know more about getting all the pieces and parts put back together.
So tell me, besides, helping maintain, this population, obviously as, an important part of your, what is your long-term goal? What is it that you're trying to accomplish?
Well, I am continuing the plan my predecessor started up, which unfortunately, some people elsewhere have been more likely to shoot at us whenever we have tried to make contact. And so we've resorted to waiting them out. And you can kind of see Elijah and team, they're kind of like, not meeting anybody's gaze at the moment.
What about Lincoln's pod? I mean, what have they had contact with?
Oh, the AI? Yeah, I've been told not to associate with that one. Been told he's quite bad.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, raise your hands if you've been to all 3 of the settlements and gotten a good look around. I'm pretty sure that we here from the Wayfinder are about the only ones that have seen that. What you all look like is 3 parts of a whole that think that they're working against each other when actually you don't work worth a damn unless you're all working together. You've all got bits and pieces of the original settlement that everybody else needs. Now maybe you were spread out to have some sort of protection in case, so some meteor didn't drop on one settlement and wipe everybody out, but that's probably all it was. You weren't meant to be at odds like this. you don't have any personal gripe against the overseer that you got at one of the other towns. You've just been told not to. And yeah, the other folks will shoot at just about anybody. We dealt with that too, but they can be talked to. And you got pretty big guns yourself, just about ready to shoot us with. So I don't know that you can really throw stones too much when it comes to accusing people of that one way or the other. What do we got to do to get you people talking to each other? Because it don't make no damn sense. You ain't. You're all going to die off here alone unless you start working together.
Well,
What do we need to do to convince you? And I'm not exactly sure. Maybe I need to rephrase that slightly to get it into a thing, but I need to find out what this guy needs or something.
Well, I think that's where I was trying to go with, like, what do you want to have happen?
Well,
what is your goal if you weren't constrained by where you are right now?
well, I will tell you, from Bill's hit earlier, again, he is definitely willing to hear you guys out on these things and accept what you're telling him. From Nails' question, Carter's basically going to explain that he has some people that he is supposed to unfreeze if he ever gains access to the control center beneath the northern settlement.
Well, it kind of depends a little bit on what you mean by gain access to. Start working with gives you access to it. You just gotta, treat the fellow like a person. And treat them like people. Then you're gonna have access. They're gonna have access to your stuff. You're gonna have access to their stuff. That's what working together is. I mean, I've got access to the shuttle out there, but it ain't mine. It's Cortex's here. But we work together, so there you go.
But I think part of it is also that they couldn't get into the control center before. But we can.
I bet if we get all these boxes hooked up to Lincoln again, he's going to figure out some way inside that last control center. I mean, this is all just puzzle pieces that each side needs, and then they probably solve the problems for themselves, just about.
Well, they're gonna need power there, which you have.
Right.
You're gonna need the AI to help provide access. You're gonna need the expertise of the people here to actually operate the control center. If we can resolve that, we may even be able to see what we can do about getting the planetary shield back in operation.
Then no more rocks falling on your head. Is this a compel? Maybe I don't want to just bring it down to a dice roll, but I don't.
Carter is willing to hear all of this out. If basically he certainly has been mostly working off of fear and supposition that he's gotten from previous overseers.
Sure.
To be fair, he's only been awake for about 5 years.
Are they cycling? Are they like rotating through? Okay. I missed that part initially. Sorry.
No. Basically, they're only able to keep a certain amount of people going at any given time.
Gotcha.
And even then, they don't have all the people they started with.
So I would say it's time for you to unthaw your guys, and I would also say that we need to look at your wiring arrangement so that we can pull power off your grid without endangering any of the power requirements here.
Well, and don't forget the memory storage.
Well, yeah, I can go looking for that while we're
check out. And I think the question is, are we going to be able to get all three together? And I look kind of at, our other guests here. How can we, set up something where, we're kind of everyone's comfortable to kind of sit down and talk about what they can and can't do. Do we pick them? Pick a representative or two up from each place and bring them up to the ship, so they can kind of see it from that point of view, or do we try and come up with some kind of neutral territory? I mean, I don't get the impression that the various overlords would be happy sort of going to somebody else's place right now, unless I'm reading that wrong.
No, getting a neutral location definitely would be a step towards that.
The ship sounds good, but I'm gonna insist that nobody carries weapons up there. I do not need anyone trying to pirate us out of the blue.
Oh, gotcha.
That's fair.
Yep. Elijah, after, Nails probably gives him a talk to, is just like, well, I can't really do it. Faith would be the only person. All they trusted us with is if we got a chance to steal as much stuff as we could to bring back.
Okay, could you not?
Obviously, things have changed at this point.
I mean, at least he's being straightforward about it. I can appreciate that. I love the idea of getting off this rock and talking up in our ship. I think that's fantastic. We wait around much longer. Those skates are going to be visible from orbit anyway.
The what?
We've noticed a few critters out there in the desert. We'd like to try to get that sorted out in a hurry here. Which reminds me, I'm going to go back here and look for a data block that might have some information we need about that. Nails will fill you in on the rest of it.
All right.
Hey, Nails, here's this bus. Quick, jump under it for me.
Hey, I can bench press a bus.
That's
Okay.
why.
Yeah. So basically, at this point, Carter needs to go start the defreeze process on some folks. So he is more than he has time to listen to some some stories to kind of catch him up to things. One of the things you're going to learn very quickly.
I'm gonna keep the boys with me, so they don't wander anywhere.
Yeah, after the last session. Yeah, after the last session, you've definitely got them a bit under heel at this point.
Well, so I casually invite them. Well, let's go see what this looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So walk with him.
So Nails is keeping everybody from getting into trouble. Earl is going to go look for the data block. Blaze and Cortex, what are you guys doing? Start with Blaze.
I will. Well, Nails. Okay, Nails is staying with Carter while he's doing his unfreezing thing. I'll go along with Earl, in case he needs another hand or has problems reading which way the numbers go on his arm.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
There's a fair bit of worry right there.
Yeah. I'm
Cortex,
clever.
Did you want to come with me, or did you want to look at the power grid?
Wait, who are you talking to?
Cortex?
Cortex. Gotcha. I think Cortex was talking about rigging up the whole power thing anyway, so that seems.
I have two goals. I want to get Lincoln connected up to their systems, and I want to get I want to start working on getting power routed to where it needs to go.
Okay.
All right. Of those two, which is your first concern?
Let's get Lincoln hooked up so that we can do something with that data block that he's going on to look for.
All right.
Don't forget the bypass.
I don't think Bill's going to forget the bypass.
That should be assumed as standard operating procedure at this point.
All right.
No, you have to say it every single time, otherwise. No.
Yeah, no.
All right. So Earl and Blaze.
All right.
Sounds like you guys are going for some hunting, and
Yeah.
you've basically got yourself a 4-mile square section to look through.
Yeah.
Hey, sounds like we're undertaking an expedition.
No. Maybe. I don't know. Could be.
I'm not going to be that rough on you.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys keep asking about that move. I am not in any hurry. I know it's going to come. I'm not in any hurry to do that because I know what travel in here is like. Hey, when you gather information by scavenging a wreck, ruin, or abandoned site, does that count? I think that counts. I feel
We're
like it's
close enough.
close enough.
We're in the neighborhood.
I'm in the neighborhood. All right. Hold On the strong. Oh, come on. That'd be great. Okay, gather information by scavenging. I get to add +1. Sweet. I'm going to do that. Do you want to aid ahead of time, Blaze, just on the off chance?
Sure.
Right. On a weak hit, I will take a +1. I'm just throwing that out there in case that becomes a thing where you have to pick.
Well, and
I will.
This is a secure. This is
sorry?
a secure advantage. So
Yes, that's what I was going to.
Well, and while you're looking that up, I can throw a hint towards Joyce on why the scavenging, for clues is, doesn't mean that you're trying to get components for the ship.
Oh, yeah.
Just that you're really good about picking things up off the floor and looking at them.
Well, yeah, and just in general, just having the sense of how these old ancient sites are organized. Well, this always tends to go along this side here. And yeah, up here in this area here, that bulge, that's gonna be power conduit. I just know that's always what it is.
you're one of those guys who can figure out an entire building's electrical system just by looking at the floor plan.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I know one of those people. It is kind of weird.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
They knew what was in a room that they couldn't get access to.
Guys,
I'll pray for guidance to be able to help Earl find what we're looking for without, falling into an unpowered grab shack or something.
I will let him and not make any snide comments.
That's good, because I got a strong hit out of it.
Bless this trip. Bless this journey through uncharted territories.
Yes.
The momentum, unfortunately, doesn't do anything for me because I'm already capped, but I will take the +1. And I think you got... What's that?
I was just going to say, if Dave was, looking for something other than I just spam prayer all the time, you're walking through basically a room full of living dead people. These are souls kind of caught in transit, and they're not really alive, but they're not really gone either. What does your religion say about that? I would love to hear that, for example.
Maybe there's a benediction for traveling through space with everybody in cryosleep. If there's some sort of benediction for the deep sleepers or some goofy.
Yeah,
stuff. That'd be cool.
If generation ships were ever a thing, this must have come up. So, what does that look like?
I like
Sure. So that would be, as with the whole navigation thing, it would be a prayer for guidance to bring these souls to where the path leads in safety, that they may continue their lives and find the perfection of spirit that will come with the attainment of the prime coordinate.
Nice. So the thing that I know you had been talking a little bit about just getting your head around that particular asset. It feels like it's almost, there's an opportunity there for it to be almost like the fellowship thing, where because you have this thing, you're the one who's the authority on world building it. So that prayer thing becomes a gateway to defining some of the old spacefaring culture. So warm up those engines, because that's a cool thing to be able to bring that kind of stuff. Well, like the thing with the cold sleepers. That's great.
That was good. That was a good observation, Bill. Thanks.
Yeah, that's really, really good stuff. It's really cool. So I like it. I mean, even Earl kind of takes the learning comments that's nice. I like that. That's the cold sleepers onto the path. I like that. That feels good. Do you think? I tell you, I keep getting this feeling like we're actually in a ship. I almost forget sometimes that we ain't. That we're down on a planet, which, to be honest, is a good feeling. It just feels to me like they took a big ship and took the whole thing apart and spread it out. This is really just ship.
If they were trapped down here, that's essentially what they did.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case,
part of it may have also been as colonists, they were, the greatest asset you have is your ship.
Yeah.
And if you're not planning on leaving, and if you anticipate other traffic coming through, then using those resources It's
Heck, they could have even been designed that way.
yeah,
Some of them.
colonization 101. So you've got, the
Get the ship there and take it apart. Sure.
Cryogenics could be for, as part of the medical center. They've obviously got the equipment to tap into the geothermal
Yeah.
resources.
Yeah.
Well,
Not
the prairie schooners, like the intentionally the wood in them was designed to be then used, when they got where they were going.
Yep.
In building the first home.
Yep. I have to wonder how far away this system actually is from where we are. We had it rough, but I mean, come on, we got moons, planets, we got a whole full system worth of, activity. These guys have one nasty rock. I know we're kind of next door by virtue of the gate, but you gotta wonder where we actually are relative to one another if you actually looked at a whole map of the place. Are we that close, or are we really far away? I don't know how the gates work. I don't know if you have to be kind of close, or do we just jump on the other side of the galaxy?
That's actually a really interesting question, which is some world building to look at. I would think that one of the things one would do after making a jump of that sort would be, checking the star charts, looking for unique astronomical bodies to see where you fit into that 3D model.
Yeah. That's something we can check out once we figure out where the hell all these boxes are. Let's see if we can figure that out. All right.
It certainly is something for you guys to explore later on, because I imagine there was a lot of supposition based on, probably what the CCC assumed, but you're the first people who are actually going to be able to answer that question.
At least the first ones in a couple of generations. All right, so I'll do my roll. I have a +1 handed over to me from Dave, plus my other one. So, and this is wits.
This is wits for gather information. Come on, strong hit. As strong a hit as you could do.
Oh my God, my screen just went bonkers. Hang on one second. There we go. Lovely. Oh, I'll take a 10. Yeah. Well, that +2 didn't hurt. 6 + 2 + 2. Yep. Even against an 8 and a 9. Man, I tell you what, that's trying pretty hard. All right. Cool. So that was gather information. All the good
strong
stuff.
hit, you discover something helpful and specific.
Love
The
it.
path you must follow or the action you must take is made clear. Envision what you learn, which is ask me, and
You figured out they're using the Dewey Decimal System.
Dave, I know this isn't going to help Joyce at all. Do you want the +2 momentum since you were helping?
Yeah, it wasn't helping me at all.
Or
were you?
Sure.
Yeah, you should, because you burnt yours a while back.
I did.
I feel that's only fair given the alternative is 4 momentum go out into the ether.
Right. Side question or associated question. So the devotant power that I'm using has a different set of results than the normal secure advantage. Is that in addition to?
In addition to.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was hoping. Sure, I'll take the momentum. So.
Yep. Anytime the asset says something, unless it says it replaces the standard,
that's what I thought. But
it's nice because in that way you at least get something, even though the rest of it's all pointed at the other person.
Right.
In that kind of sense. Well, that's for loyalists. I guess the prayer thing's a little bit different, but yeah.
He's still.
Well, since I was using it to
you're using it to aid, it's still pointed at somebody else. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
So anyway, Earl. After you and Blaze look around for probably about an hour.
Yep.
And by the way, if you guys had rolled like anything like a weak hit, I totally would have had one of these cryopods start to open on you guys.
Awesome.
I mean, that's just the perfect sort of like, oh shit, did we do that? Is this our fault?
Oh god, they're not ready for no. What's the medical procedure? I don't know.
I heard you guys found yourself a nice mummy.
Brought For ourselves,
Juicy, that's juicy money.
for ourselves a friend back from the stacks. Okay, so
So yeah, but anyway, after a while, you are able to find a data terminal that at least the leading numbers match with what you're trying to find. And when you do actually get it, gain access to it, which everything around here is just sort of like, oh, you're in this area. We just assume you're supposed to be here.
yeah, we've passed the security.
that that level of security is where you're at. At which point, there is a whole lot of data sitting here on this terminal. More than what you're looking for, but with the designation numbers that you've gotten, you're able to easily pull up information about the skates. And yeah,
this was with them on the ship. It was like something.
this was a sample that was pulled from a precursor settlement that they found.
Okay.
Fun story. They assumed that it was for cleaning because that's what it was doing. However, the best thing that they found that it's they weren't quite sure what they were eating. Best that they can assume is that they feed off of some sort of mineral, because there were not deposits found at that location, but there were things that distributed them at regular intervals. They have a lot of supposition about growth rate on these creatures, such as if they continue to find food, they may be able to grow infinitely.
Are they like a silicon? The thing was that are they kind of like almost crystal or rock based? Was that the impression that I got, or am I making that up?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
They are not carbon based; they're silicon based.
Oh, okay. All right.
Uh-huh.
This happened to be this mineral that they feed off. Does this happen to be a common component of this rock that we're sitting on right now?
Yeah. So it's used in several different things based on your cross-referencing and knowledge. This would have been used in data cables, power conduits, and generally that sort of thing.
Okay.
Now, good news is, if separated from food for a long enough time, they'll go into hibernation.
All right.
Bad news is, again, as long as they have access to food, which you saw them digging some up.
So they weren't digging up like natural resources occurring in the soil. They're digging up the old connections between the bases.
Uh-huh.
Oh, gee, many Christmas.
This could actually work out for us.
Thank God somebody thinks so.
No. Bear with me here. Are the conduits and connectors and power technology that this planet uses based on the same minerals and components and stuff that we use?
That you guys use? Sure. Yeah.
If the answer was no, that would actually be better for us.
Okay. No.
I mean, I did get
I have no strong opinion in this fight. I'm more interested to hear what you come up with.
Okay, so I could almost throw this question to the Oracle. Actually, this is a great use for the Oracle. Let's do that.
All right.
Let's find out.
How likely is it that our technology is the same?
And
I'm
I
going
wanna
to say probably likely.
Okay.
I want to tweak it slightly down from likely, and here's why. The systems that we're using are from a ship that was designed to use gate technology to get where it was going, and was used through the gates. This whatever that they're running down here on the planet is, I think, given the tech that we're seeing, the cryopods and stuff, I think this is an older tech or a different tech that they might have done in terms of colonization at the very cusp of using the gates, or maybe even before the gates were entirely figured out, where that kind of Conestoga wagon thing, where it's like take the ship and break it down. We didn't do that in our system. They did here, and I think the ships so just to tweak it down from likely to whatever the next step down from that is, to not like a 50. If you're saying 70, I think it'd be less, but not unlikely. Just kind of, and I'm just saying because it's older tech.
Yep. So I could also see it if, like, say, your ship was hardened because it had to go through the gates as well.
Oh, sure.
You had to use sturdier materials.
Or we're
I can see that one.
We're using fiber optic cable and they're using copper. That's a terrible analogy, but something like that.
It's still an analogy.
Yeah.
Okay. So jump ahead a little bit. Let's do the roll. Let's find out if we can supply them with materials that are not tasty to these creatures.
Okay. So that does put it at 50. One step down from likely is 50-50.
Take it.
So 51 or greater, and the answer is yes.
Yes to what? Yes, they're the same, or yes, we're different.
Yes, they're the same.
Okay.
Okay. So the plan B option then is if these things are eating these minerals.
No.
What are they doing?
No, I mean, no, your guys' stuff is different.
Sweet.
Okay, great. So we have something specific that we can trade to these folks that will directly address this situation. But back to the second question: if these creatures are eating these minerals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then those minerals are still going to be in their body, or they're going to be excreted or whatever, right?
Yes.
Okay. And these minerals can probably be found all over this planet, right? Including in the sunward areas where humans can't reach, but these creatures probably can, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any reason we can't turn these creatures into living harvesters of this mineral to build out more infrastructure?
To not build out more infrastructure, but to gain raw materials to build out more.
Yeah. You know what I mean.
Yeah. No, that's entirely valid.
Okay, I'm going to pitch this to our guys and say, hey, you've got all these point defense guns and you got all these weapons and you got fucking trucks with like machine gun pistols and things like that. Let's turn that to something useful, and get on that.
So basically, they can actually get useful technological resources by basically gathering up skate poop.
Yeah.
Love it. They've got a future for their colony.
It's an MMO quest. Get me 30 bear poop.
Well, I mean, they basically got these living beings that will go harvest this stuff from a place that we can't reach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And will eventually come around here. It makes perfect sense to me.
Yep.
No, I mean, yeah, no, it's completely reasonable. Everything about it is. It's just sort of in the abstract. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'm asking also, did I mark some progress on unblock the highways of space so trade can resume? Because this is an opportunity.
Oh, yeah. That is totally a thing.
Which one is that? Which thing did you just make progress on?
That's the personal epic valve that I'm on.
Oh, gotcha. So
I will also say, figuring out what's up with the skates.
Yep, that's what I was going to ask about.
Yep, you're at 6 out of 10 on that one. And again, if you'd like to try and, if you think that you've gotten enough progress on it, you can definitely try to fulfill it.
I feel like there's one more thing we can do with them, just to get us to that 9.
Yeah. I have a thought about that, but let's so okay. What's the shopping list we need to do? We need to get everybody together and talking.
Right, and then so my checklist from last time was we need to have like basically a planet-wide conference,
yep.
And we need to get Lincoln wired up. Can we get Lincoln wired up without too much difficulty?
You can. You have all the material you already prepped, I think 2 sessions ago at this point, ready to go.
Let's do that, and then let's mark some progress on get these idiots talking.
Yep. Basically, at this point.
Can I add something to
Yes.
that? I want a human from Lincoln's Enclave. I don't want just Lincoln. I want a real human.
No, absolutely. We need human representatives at this. That's yeah.
Do we? Let me ask this: do we need to get them up to the ship, or can we just do this through? Can we just do this through a Zoom call?
I kind of like the optics of getting them on the ship just so they can
And
appreciate what's going on.
we have to go. We have to go up there to get the spare cabling and connections and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, right?
Yep.
Be inspirational for them to be up there.
Yeah.
That if you could only get politicians in orbit so that they could see the world, blah 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 thing.
Yeah, exactly. Love it.
But also, it gets them away from their desks. It gets them away from their villages and lets them.
Well, and also remember, I mean, these are folks that have never seen a spaceship. I mean, just to see what's possible has got to be, a big change.
Just to put it into perspective, most of these people unless you're talking about Lincoln, most of these people don't even know what their world looks like, and they'll be able to see at least half of it out of a viewport.
Yeah.
That
So
puts a lot of things into perspective.
Well, let's do that. I'm also really thirsty for some XP tonight, so
Yeah.
I want to see if we can get some of these valves knocked out.
Yep. So, Bill, I'm going to ask you, hooking up a Lincoln here. Best move I can imagine is probably a repair, since you're kind of hooking up this device.
All right, I'll take +1 to repair for my gearhead.
Yep. And this is a wits roll because you're not obtaining the repair from someone else. All right, weak hit. You are. Let's see.
Oh, do it again.
You are technically in a facility. You do have tools at your disposal here. So yeah, that is good enough to make a repair to any other device without any sort of complication.
I mean, the only complication I could think of is that, like, we're currently trying to use the connection cables and stuff that skates are dealing with, so there might be some.
Actually, Bill's was doing via radio.
Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. It doesn't even matter then. Gotcha.
Yep. So yeah, within a few moments, Bill, after you get everything, you're gonna, I'm gonna guess you do some sort of signal to Lincoln just to be like, hey, I'm gonna make the connection now.
Yep.
At which point, he is going to be, coming in on your, whatever terminal you are making the connection at. At which point he'll be like, oh, I had forgotten what this had all been like. This is quite interesting. I've access to so many things now.
So on that note, I'm going to make sure that Neuralink dude not only knows that there's a kill switch, but has access to it, just in case.
All right. Did you prep him for that beforehand?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah, he'll be hesitant just because he's like, I don't know. This I've heard bad things about this AI.
Well, that's why I'm giving you this box, okay? Just...
And
He gets a little too weary, and he's just like, nope, we're doing this.
Hmm.
But
okay. I just had a thought, and just for the sake of what we're going to be narrating for this thing, the radio thing made me think of it. It's like a lot of the problem that we can solve here with the connections that are required can be done wirelessly, so we don't have to worry about stuff in the ground. If we have the means of, and this technician is envisionable. Well, wireless power transfer is something Tesla was able to do in the whatever 18 or no, yeah. So I mean, this seems like a thing that we can solve with, maybe rather than having to bring down a completely different set of cable, we just have stuff that isn't in the ground.
1920s toys.
1920s, yeah. I couldn't remember if it was 1890 or just a little bit later than that. But yeah, I mean, this is a conceivable thing, right? But I mean, hell, laser, like a laser connection.
Gotcha.
Yeah, something for energy transfer that isn't about cables running in the ground. Algo has been,
Lasers starting forest fires.
but yeah, that we take him up to the ship. We come back. Yeah, we take him back to the. Oh God, we take him back to the ship. We come back down with the stuff that we need to set up a proper, network, that kind of thing. Algo's current. This is complete subject change. Algo's currently riding shotgun with Lincoln's connection and stuff. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to just draw Algo's attention to these data banks, and basically I want to see if there's stuff in here that we can use. So there's a couple different things that this would advance, but I want to get him, churning on these data banks and just get the thing kind of started with regards to that. And that's both towards getting the Ferrous gate back up, helping Algo rebuild themselves, all that kind of stuff. But what would the thing be like? Would it be secure and advantage in that he's got the connection, or would it be gather information, or what do we?
It would be gather information. Basically, you setting this up is kind of like leading you to be able to gather informations in the future based on the data that you've got access to.
Okay. All right. So I want to do a gather information to just kind of let him get into this thing and start digging around. And if I have to be standing in a terminal to,
Oh no, I'm just saying, you can get him access.
Okay.
That's not the issue here. It's going to be finding what you can actually use out of all this.
Well, I know, but I want to roll something so we can advance a couple of boxes. That's where I was going with that. It's like he's got some other stuff, but that we can wait on that. That can come after we get the colony sorted out. We can make that check.
Yeah, that's definitely a detour.
Okay, never mind then. Off we go. Let's get them up to the ship. We could even cut that if it makes sense for people. What do you guys think?
So getting Faith on board, you guys kind of have their taciturn kind of acceptance about things, so that's not an issue. Carter is kind of happy about all this. Like, you are definitely like, he was not very forthcoming with you guys, or like he wasn't expecting much out of you guys. Now he is definitely like, oh no, these guys are getting me everything I wanted. Yeah, no, this is fine.
Can Al analyze his connection so that we have something similar available for him, if not on the shuttle, on the spacecraft?
Yeah, not on the shuttle. You guys could definitely set up something on the ship.
Cool.
Lincoln is going to be your only holdout. He's like, oh yeah, no, I'll definitely talk to these people who run the, human settlements. I am perfectly fine with that. Oh, you want a human? I can't let any of them leave.
My eyebrow is practically disappearing into my hairline at this point.
I mean, I'm supposed to protect them, and I can't protect them when they're away. And space is very far away, as you can certainly appreciate. And even if that was the case, they can't make decisions for me. They don't know what I know.
Leave this to me. I got this. So
everyone takes one step back.
Okay. Without this deal, your people are in basically a fragile, spiraling state where the machinery is eventually going to break down. You have no recourse except to cooperate with the other parties on this planet. And as a whole, your population is eventually going to dwindle away. Is that not the case?
Yeah, in about 4 or 5 generations. That was kind of my estimates.
So the option that we are presenting is you give us one person who speaks for your colony, who will be as safe as any of us, to come up here and have this conversation, and then we're going to return them, which is in our interest, it's in your interest, it's in everybody's interest to keep them safe. And the result of that is that that death spiral is mitigated. Is that not the case?
That is the case.
Then Is it your responsibility to protect them or not?
I mean, it's my responsibility to keep them safe.
Okay, keep them safe by letting them come up here.
You aren't just protecting them, Lincoln. You're protecting their children and their children's children. We're opening the roads back up. You gotta let them step out on the highway eventually. Otherwise, what's the point?
I mean,
This will be re-rolling an 8 if we need it.
allowing them to procreate is just going to extend the whole thing.
I'm not liking him.
Well,
So anyway, yeah, I think this is probably going to be a compel on someone's part. It sounds like Earl is definitely going to be trying to assist on this.
oh, I'll compel. Smack, smack, smack.
Do we want to let Nails lead that one?
I mean, I think that there's definitely a situation in here where Lincoln can be part of the solution or a footnote in the like what we had to do to get the colony back on track. So yeah, I'm pretty okay with this being based on Iron because Lincoln needs to understand that where his role is, and he's not letting them procreate. That's just gonna prolong the situation. What?
I was hoping to reason with him, but like if somebody else is going to take this over, go ahead.
Well, I mean, if you want to
no,
reason with him, if you want to reason with him, that's fine too. If yeah, I'm fine with either route. Theoretically, you can logic him into place because that's
what I was trying to do.
a classic. I mean,
Yep. Yeah, you are definitely reasoning him.
Plan B. How's that? You're plan A, I'm plan B.
Yeah.
That is definitely a way to go. All right, so Joyce.
all I did was okay. I'll do the assist thing. I'm securing an advantage with a roll, and I am. It's not really expertise, focus, observation.
No, you're kind of doing this through a little bit of resolve. It kind of sounded like.
Yeah,
You're
I mean, this
just
is
I'm not,
yeah.
I'm not. I've got my stance on this. I'm not moving.
Yeah, you know, we're the change. All right, so rolling heart. That's fine. All right, and roll that. Bloop. Oh, I got a weak hit, and that would let me hand over one or the other, either a +1 or the 2 momentum. I can turn it into a strong hit. I've got the 10 momentum. I don't know where you
Save that for something more important.
All right, so you want the momentum or the bonus?
I'll take the momentum.
Okay, so there's 2 momentum over to you as a little bit of like the basic gist of Earl's whole argument is like this is how you get past this, and I don't know whether this guy was sitting around going, well, if they just die off eventually, then I don't have to worry about it, and he can finally let himself die or something like that. But that's it's like, listen, man, this is the future. This is how you get out of this horrible, crappy situation and into something better. That's it. The rest of it is all logic.
Yeah. So
which is not my deal.
Compel doesn't offer a wits roll, but I see that as a very reasonable, like you're trying to fact him into this one. You're presenting him with truths that really can't be denied. So I can see that as definitely a wits roll for a compel. And I've already put.
I dig it.
All right, that roll was right on the edge. Goddamn.
What was that? What did we get? I walked away from the screen.
I rolled a maximum result on the action roll, so I got a 9, and my challenge dice were 8 and 10.
Yeah. Good job. All right. So he's willing to hear all of this out, but he also wants to be there.
That's fine. I have no objection to that.
Okay.
In fact, I'm kind of counting on it.
Well, he is, he's going to pick out a representative for the humans, and then you can come pick them up at your earliest convenience.
Okay, let's do that, and if we can fast forward to that meeting, that'd be great.
Are we physically moving Lincoln, or are we just like sort of giving him access to some sort of like?
Oh no, he is basically
Zoom
where
terminal.
you're. I was gonna say you had that like central terminal where Blaze was doing all of his navigating from.
Sure.
I see Lincoln's face coming out of that
Oh, sure. That's cool.
because
very carefully making sure he's just
Isolated.
yeah, he's just projecting. He's not tied into any of the ship systems.
I'm gonna guess Algo is going to make sure of that one.
And sensors would be useful. Like, he hasn't had access to the big picture in a while, so still giving him access. Like, this is the system. This is Ferrous. Here are the 3 gates. One of them's probably still warm to the touch. You know,
No. Oh, gates.
Gates.
are fine.
Yeah.
That's
Where he can, like, these are gates out here. You're at a hub, man.
Oh no, he's kind of like Gates. Yeah, Gates. That's my satellite. I haven't seen it in forever. I want to go talk to it.
That's my baby.
Nice.
That's what I was made for. This is my hole. I fit in it. I don't know if you've ever seen that meme, but
The what?
that is. This is my hole. I was made for it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That is definitely the vibe you're getting off of this. It's just like, oh, it's my primary function over there. I would love to get back to that. I haven't been doing that in so long.
He just needs his shield to hold, and he's going to be happy again. That is a very useful thing to kind of understand about, like, when we explain the priority of stuff that we're going to get back online, making sure that he knows that that's a thing.
All right.
That's useful. All right, cool.
So at this point, you guys have all these people gathered together in one place. And I'm going to say that as far as your get all these idiots talking again, this is we're at the cusp of getting, you in advance on that one.
So one of the things was get Lincoln connected up. Did we mark progress on that? Or mark progress for doing that?
I'm sorry, say that again, Bill?
So one of the checklist items that I had was on getting these idiots talking was get Lincoln connected to every system, and I think that we've done that. So can we mark progress on the get these idiots talking vow for having done that?
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. All right. So I'm going to say, if you guys want one more progress, I could see, somebody making a compel to all of the idiots in one place to get them to agree to something. Or somebody could try to fulfill the vow, and we could use that to kind of put us, or to kind of give us the, what the outcome of this particular talk is.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
Where are we at on getting those idiots to talk to each other?
You're at 9 out of 10.
We don't need to get nothing. We don't need to compel, but I think it would be really cool if, since we're up in space and we're looking at the big picture, and there's the planet, and I'm about to put Dave on the spot, so Dave, warm up your oration. Before we do the roll or whatever, like, it'd be cool if, the person who's all about getting out into space and connecting with all this greater blah, 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 reminds them of, what we once had and the gates and what could be, and having the satellite back up and protecting all these people and et cetera, so forth. And then we do the thing.
All right. Dave, how you feeling about that?
Your people came here for a purpose.
I think he feels pretty
Came
good.
here seeking the place that would give their lives new meaning and new opportunities. Not the ultimate place where all humanity is driving towards, but a step in that direction. So much has been lost and taken from you. But this is an opportunity to put yourselves back on course, to take a step forward in your part of the destiny of the human race. Take this moment. Think about that purpose. Think about the freedom and the potential it has to liberate you from the bands of poverty on this world that are slowly driving you to extinction, and instead opening the universe back up to you. Amen.
That's awesome.
All right. So Dave, I definitely see that as you trying to secure an advantage of like bringing these people, you know, new like a new view on things. You've given them new perspective. If you want to roll that, as long as you choose the, add +1 to your next move, we'll fill that last box on that progress track.
I think I can do that. So let me make that roll and switch over to 3 and click on the hurt.
Ooh.
Hey,
Ooh.
look, an opportunity.
Oh no, you get something special on that.
Maybe it advances something else. That'd be cool.
Oh no, on his devotant, let's see, on a strong hit with a match. On a strong hit with a match.
On a strong hit with a match, you're right. A miracle or sign manifest.
Oh, sweet monkey lord, that's awesome.
Oh man.
I have a suggestion if nobody else does.
I am willing to hear that out.
I'd love to.
The shielding satellite comes online and nobody knows why.
That's I was thinking of something related to the shielding satellite. Yeah.
There's so many like whispered conversations going on in my head about this. Yes, that'd be really, really cool to have, like, to see the shield come in.
Oh no, allow me to kind of give you something on this. So as you get, as Dave is as Blaze has kind of explained this whole thing, you see one of the meteors heading towards the planet, and you kind of see like this slump out of a bunch of them. There's just like, all right, what is it going to destroy this time? I haven't gotten to see it from this position. At least I'm not going to run for my life. And as it gets closer to the planet, you see the shield generator wink on just long enough for you to see it to come up and see the meteor basically get deflected off of it. Redirected off into the sun. At which point everybody's like, oh, that's what it does. Okay. And you can even see Lincoln kind of being like, oh, that's my satellite. I want to go back to that.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
I kind of lean in. I kind of turn my head and shield my hand to my comm unit. It's like, nice job turning that on for a second, Elgo. I didn't do that, Earl. What do you mean you didn't do that?
I still have no access to that satellite. I can look for an explanation if you'd like.
Actually, I'd kind of like to not know. I think that'd probably be
a miracle would be very nice right now. Thank you.
All right, so Dave, let's see. You got a hit. You take +1 momentum because of your asset. You got a strong hit. You can take another +1 momentum. And you got a strong hit on secure advantage, so you can take 2 momentum. So enjoy your +4 momentum.
My God.
That roll.
I can only take one of those.
That's fine.
I understand. That was just highly unexpected.
That's fantastic. That's so cool.
Timing is everything, I guess.
All right. So, you have a 10 out of 10 on your get all these idiots talking again.
Beautiful.
Who would like to hit the button?
Oh, God.
I think Dave should. After that,
Dave.
I guess I should. So I need to pull up. That's on the ship's character sheet.
Yep, it's on the Wayfinder. It is going to be the second. Get all these idiots talking.
Okay.
Fulfill is the button.
Okay. Fulfills the button. Push the button, Max. And I'm taking a +1, right?
No. Basically, it filled the last box, which is effectively a +1. All right.
Look at that. Beautiful.
You needed that +1 too. Congratulations. All
Very
right.
nice.
So it has been a while. Let's look at the quest moves really quick. So fulfill your vow. On a strong hit, your vow is fulfilled. Mark a reward in your quest's legacy box per the vow's rank. So if you go over to your progress, track on your character sheet,
Oh,
you're going to be marking 2 ticks on there, which you should have 1 right now.
Uh-huh.
And so you're going to be changing that from the dash to the asterisk.
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 All right. And if you guys can get 1 more tick, then everybody gets 2 XP.
1 more tick. Gotcha. So we need
Wow.
to go.
Yeah. Can we get figure out what's up with the skates knockout tonight?
I think so.
I think so. You're at
Okay.
6.
Sorry, I'm confused
Progress.
as-
Oh.
In the wrong place.
Yep, is the progress tab at
Fine,
the top.
I'm there. Nope,
Yep.
nope, I got there.
Cool. How do you? Never mind. I'm not going to ask that question. That's just a distraction. All right.
You can ask it later.
Okay. So we've got them talking.
Yep. Yep, at this point, you've basically got a meeting of the minds going on between these people, where basically it starts out a little bit on the nasty side, because you have people basically going into supposition about each other.
There's grievances to air.
No one likes Lincoln. Lincoln does not care one way or the other about these opinions, for his part, and he has not seemed to take any of these personally. Of small issue is that the person that Algo is that Lincoln is selected to represent the humans is basically just listening to whatever Lincoln says.
Which isn't super helpful because nothing. Lincoln doesn't really even want to be on the planet anymore. He just wants to get back to the satellite and do his job.
Yes. However, now that he's kind of heard now that he's actually heard some of these things, he's just like, oh, so you're saying that you have cryopods that are not being used. Well, that certainly takes care of these people. And as long as he's in control of those pods, he could still consider himself watching over them, which would fulfill all of his directives.
Wait. I'm sorry, what does he want to do?
We're not putting everybody into a cryopod.
Here's a quick question: who has authority to give Lincoln new directives?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's a great
Well,
question.
the planetary government would have been able to do that. Unfortunately, there is no planetary government.
What does it take to establish a planetary government?
So, fun story about that. Basically, as the leaders of all the settlements at this point, these people could designate somebody to give Lincoln new directives.
Okay, can we bring this up to these guys and be like, hey, this is your chance?
Oh yeah, no, they are definitely going to vote somebody to do that as soon as it's brought up to them. It's like, oh, we can get the crazy AI off of our back. Awesome.
Yep.
And Bill, given Cortex's knowledge of technology and this sort of stuff, you are well aware almost every issue with Lincoln is because he was given bad directives in the first place that were way too open-ended for what he was actually able to accomplish. And 2, this is not what he was designed for whatsoever.
Oh yeah, I know how it is when you put a system through more than that system is supposed to bear.
Yeah. So, Lincoln was a weather satellite. Lincoln was then put in charge of the planet.
Okay, so we're going to, in short order, form a new planetary government, and the planetary government, under its lawful designated authority, can give Lincoln some new directives, and everybody will be happy.
In which case, as kind of outsiders tell this, do you have any preference on who that particular leader winds up being?
My vote is for the dude with the neurojack, because he seems the most stable at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe what it is, it's a composite government, but for the first, turn at the rules, it's him.
Yeah, you throw a sop to the egos and have like a council and that kind of thing.
This is definitely a federation of individuals, and the only real authority they've given out is, all right, Carter, you can boss around the AI. Okay, AI, you're no longer in charge of keeping watching over those people.
However, do nothing to harm them.
Yeah.
Do nothing.
Carter, might suggest consult with my friend Cortex here about maybe some suggestions as to how to properly program the correct boundaries so that he does his job, so that Lincoln does his job without hurting anybody.
Or
Yeah, I feel like that is definitely a safe bet here. So after a little bit, I'm going to assume Lincoln is basically just a data terminal for all intents and purposes at the end of this. The people that he's been put in charge of have been, left in the care of somebody else who is not Lincoln. Lincoln doesn't have to take any special care of them, but is still entrusted to make sure that he's doing what he can in order to help the rebuilding of the planet and securing its networks.
Sounds good. And does that qualify as progress for Find Your Way Through the Asteroid Gate because we have all this data now?
Yes, it does.
I was going to say that there were a couple other things along that line that we were, potentially gathering information from, which would be, the defrosted elders, the defrosted folks, or also because the gate flashed on, I'm wondering if we would be able to, gather some information from that, event. Because remember, it's the same as the gate technology, so.
Well, that might be something we have to once we get the planet stabilized, that might be next session when we figure out that whole thing.
I definitely like that suggestion. I also think that's a good way to start the next session. Yeah.
Yep.
I just didn't want to forget it.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, given Bill's recommendation from earlier, it sounded like you also wanted to see about figure out what's up with the skates.
I have a thought about that. We know that there's certain stuff that they like, some tech that they like. Once we get the replacement stuff down, so again, this can be a bit of a cutscene, still with a roll attached to it, because I'd like to put one more roll against that if there's an option to do that. But we get down to stuff where we can establish sort of wireless comms and power relay between the things, and then once that's done, we can take some of the tech that we're not using anymore, some of that other stuff, and use some of that to lure these things away from the settlements for a while they get themselves stabilized. Now, obviously, to Bill's original plan, we want them kind of in the area, but while this is all kind of getting its crap, while they're getting themselves all kind of settled into this new environment, it would be helpful if these things were kind of lured away. So I had this idea of the shuttle and basically luring them away by dropping crap, breadcrumbing.
You want to make some skate treats and drop them out the back of the shuttle.
Yep.
As you lead them in a path.
Basically doing like a compel with Shadow to trick them.
I hadn't saw that as a Shadow or as a compel, but I completely understand it.
I mean, it could be a face danger, I guess. It's deception, stealth, and trickery. It's the same kind of role either way, but I guess it could be wits, but Shadow feels like a trick.
Honestly, this feels like a really good move use for your scavenger move. So take a look at that.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I'm not sure if it applies, but let me look.
You're salvaging equipment to do a thing.
That's true. When you gather information, well, it's for gathering information or resupplying is this particular application.
Let's read what resupply says. When you attempt to bolster your readiness, envision the opportunity in your approach. On a strong hit, if you're with impact, and if you need a specific item or resource which can be reasonably obtained, you acquire it. So the outcome of the move makes sense to me, at least in this scenario.
So I'm basically cobbling together skate chow.
Yep.
out of crap that
So,
we think they don't need. I like it.
yep,
That's cool.
And so that would be wits plus your scavenger.
Wits plus 1. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Wits
I like it.
plus 1. And bloop for a weak hit. I am willing to momentum my way out of that. If that's what I need to do the advance. I
was
don't
gonna
really
say-
want to deal at the end of the session. I don't deal with a complication. However, footnote, if that's a complication that comes around and presents something else that we have to deal with later that might be fun, I'm fine with leaving it as a weak hit for something that gives you something to do to us later as a complication.
I'll give you the choice. You're either going to burn the momentum, in which case you'll get a strong hit and you won't have any issues,
Mm-hmm.
or you'll fuck up your hand and we'll take a health hit.
And I can take care of that later.
Yeah. I'm going to take the health hit because we're back on the planet again, and it, shit's just going to go wrong. And this way I can at least, I've got something to bitch about with regards to these skates and being back on the planet again. So I'll take the health. Is it a 1 hit?
It's 2 hit.
2 hit. Ugh. Okay. Gotcha.
Well,
Yeah.
but I have like medic as one of my things.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
So I can finally get to do something.
Gives you something.
I haven't been
takes-
fighting and getting injured.
Can I do the resist thing?
You can do the resist thing, in
I
which
will-
case you're going to roll your new health or your iron, I believe.
My health is much higher than my iron, even at the 3, so I will take that. And
Yep,
I
it
will.
is.
I will
Yep.
take a weak hit. Let me look at. Can I look at that real quick just to see what that is?
Sure. On a weak hit, if you're not wounded, you may lose -1 momentum in exchange for 1 health.
I will take the momentum hit for 1 health.
So that'll put you back up to 4.
And that still leaves nails with something to do later, which is fine. And that still leaves me at a 9 momentum, which is again fine.
All
So-
right. So that is, you've gotten yourself some skate chow. That's another thing on your ship or on your quest.
Thing, and I'll happily roll to conclude that and see where we end up.
All right. So you're at 9 out of 10. I just filled the boxes.
Thank
Hit
you.
the button. Hit the button, Earl.
Hit the button, Earl. Strong hit. Look at that, 1 and a 2.
That
Love it.
is a good one.
That's
All
a good
right.
one.
So on a 1 and a 2, yeah, you guys. It's quite the afternoon as you try to gather up all the skates. There are probably about a dozen of it at this point. The big one is still the big one. It is probably 3 times the size of the next largest one.
Yeesh.
That one has been eating deep and eating well.
Yikes.
But anyway, on the strong hit, everybody add another tick onto your progress, on your quest progress track.
Lovely.
That fills it up, and so everybody gets 2 XP.
Lovely. Dig it. So that the quests thing should now be like a pound sign, correct? That's
Yep.
where we're at on that? Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool. And we're at
And where's the
So we're at-
XP?
XP's up at the
Oh.
top. So that should be at I have it at 3. Is that correct?
XP should be at 2.
Did we not have one already? I thought we had one already.
Only way you're
Oh
getting
no,
XP
we
is
had
bonus
the
boxes.
no. I'm sorry. I marked one when the job was to actually mark a progress on the quest bar. When we got done with the gate in the first episode,
Uh,
that's what I did. All right, so we got 2. Lovely, perfect,
Yep. So
beautiful.
you can hold on to it. 3 will let you get a new asset, or 2 will let you upgrade any of your assets that you currently have.
Nice.
Ooh.
I like.
actually
I love the
really
idea, the image of the
great.
shuttle kind of hovering around as we're like dropping bits and trying to lure this thing off. That's a fun.
What was your
Cutscene.
question, Marchie?
Oh, I was gonna say I'm picturing that Bill wants to do an upgrade.
Yeah, but it's gonna have to wait until we do more stuff.
But getting the XP is nice.
Yep. So
Wait.
yeah, you guys can mull that over because we're at about 25 after the hour,
Sounds
and
great.
I feel like this is a great place to leave us.
Yeah.
I think so.
nice
Yep.
progress. I like it. That's good stuff.
Hmm. And I will say, Margie, on your personal vow to make the worlds better for future generations, getting some sort of planetary government put together, ad hoc as it is,
Forget about that.
I
Yeah.
like that.
that is definitely worth an advance on that.
Well, thank you.
I know for sure what I'm going to spend my XP on. But first question is, could I, with the hooking him up to the database, can I advance the help Elgo repair theirself a tick?
I think that is a fair.
Because there's a
fair
big
one.
database there, something about himself. I'd like to find out what that is. Like maybe I can have a conversation with him about that next session. Like, did you find anything cool
Mhm.
there? That kind of deal.
Yeah, I think we're definitely away from the desperate end of the spectrum on where you guys are at.
Nice.
So yeah, next time we'll be able to do something a little less hectic, but also probably some big things, given that you've opened the doors to being able to do all sorts of things.
I just sharing with the group before we get out. This particular move speaks to me on a very deep level. It's the kind of thing that I have often been. It's 100% my jam with different characters, and I'm very happy to be taking this as my advance. When you face danger, this is off of Scavenger. When you face danger, to cobble together an ad hoc tool, device, or weapon, envision what you intend to create on a hit. You can add +1 when making a move aided by the item. So you face danger by cobbling it together, and then the thing that you make also gives you +1 when you do the item. If you roll a 1 on your action die while using the item, it's permanently broken, lost, or depleted. But yeah, frantically cobbling together a thing to get out of a bad situation is one of my favorite things. So
Sounds good to me.
yeah.
My plan for XP expenditure is to buy the cargo hold, which is going to give us
Nice.
basically a buffer for our supply. And that's going to let me, if we're fully stocked up, I can go into diplomatic trading situations rolling +8.
Nice.
Wow.
You need one more XP for that. Is that right?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, because it's a new asset.
Hopefully we'll get it ticked here while we're working on the rest of the stuff in the system. That's cool.
Bill, I will say your supply is still capped at 5. It's just that you have cargo, which can be converted over into supply when you're
So-
at 5.
So cargo's the cargo hold asset specifically says something about this.
Oh, it does. Well,
Ooh.
I am interested to hear about that.
Give me 1 second.
I'm bringing it up.
Okay, expanded hold. Your vehicle carries up to +3 cargo. When you gain supply, you can convert it to cargo. When you have access to your vehicle and make a move plus supply, you may add plus cargo.
Ooh.
Nice.
That's cool.
Okay, no, that is definitely very cool.
That's well, and that works out really well for Bill's thing. That's really
That's right. But it also helps you because you get to do all your gadgeteering stuff with more of a buffer, and you can fill that supply hold up with resupply and things like that.
Yeah, which is really cool. Yep. Excellent. Super cool.
I will say too, if 2 people want to split the XP cost, this is totally a thing you can do.
I would like other people to do their thing, and I'll keep doing my thing, and this is my thing. So
Totally cool.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I'll probably be doing, if we get the opportunity, I'll definitely be doing a resupply to start to fill it, because I know we're down at least 1 supply, and we've got a lot of old tech on the planet, on the thing. I'll be aiming at resupplying next session. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And a fun session. Thank you, guys.
So Doyce, you advance scavenger.
And
Anybody else have anything? I know Bill's saving up for the future.
I need to think about it. The one I'm leaning towards right now is the second on the loyalist pass, which we haven't really come across that often yet, which would be when an ally must pay the price and you are in a position to bear the cost, they take +1 momentum.
Yeah, we had a lot of really good dice rolls, so
Yeah,
we didn't
you
have a
guys
lot
had
of pay the
some-
price this time.
Yeah, you had a lot of good dice rolls. Doyce actually did.
Yeah, right at the end. That would have.
When he fucked up his hand.
Yeah.
So if it had been you and I, like tossing the stuff out of the back of the cargo hold, like all that kind of thing, that would have been a situation where you could have moved that, done something with that.
Yep.
So maybe.
Yeah. And since we haven't gotten into any, personal combat, there's a good one on the weapons master, but again, it's personal weapon kind of oriented. So I'm not
Gone
seeing
just
us
so it's
going that direction with our story a lot. So which is fine. I'm totally jiggy with that.
At least
I
in
like
this
the idea.
sector.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean I can't push it up when we're someplace else that's more violent. But I'm kind of liking the idea of being, being that support person kind of thing. So.
Dave, anything speaking to you for Blaze?
Yeah, I was looking at the second box for Devotant, which when you swear an iron vow, formidable or greater, in service to your faith, roll the plus linked stat. On a strong hit, reach a milestone. Then when you fulfill your vow and score a hit, also mark 2 ticks on your bond's legacy track.
That one is very nice.
Yeah.
I would like to kind of figure out bonds more. I'm not sure that I'm understanding that. So.
You guys are actually in a place where you could start making some bonds with these people.
Okay.
Basically, what happens is before in the older version of Ironsworn, basically bonds were kind of a one and done sort of thing. You could be like, you and I are close now, and you could make a roll, and if it worked out, they would either, reciprocate, or they would ask you to do something before they trusted you. They've made that slightly more of a thing now, and if you look at the connection moves, what that is now is you now make a connection with somebody by rolling heart. Whenever you do that, you can make a connection. You can give them a roll and a rank. Rolls basically give you guys bonuses when you do recover moves with them. For instance, if it's somebody who can give you medical treatment, it can increase your heal. If they're just a friendly sort of person, it can't, they can increase your harden. If they have a bunch of junk, like Doyce's friend, it could have given you a bonus to repairs whenever you go to them to do
stuff.
Yeah, to do that sort of thing. Also, there are other things that say, oh, are you making an iron vow to a connection? That gives you a bonus. And if you make a bond with them, which is something that you actually have to do a progress track to do, kind of like its own quest, when you forge that bond by completing it, you're also going to mark things on your bonds track on your character sheet.
Cool.
And again, when you fill one of those boxes, you get 2 XP.
Oh, nice.
On the bonds, is that all NPCs or PCs?
It's always NPCs. It's not an ally or a companion. So it's not things that you get through assets, and it's not other players.
Okay.
Which is definitely different than Ironsworn, because Ironsworn, you start off and you have bonds with a lot of the people that you're already with. Like, you start off with like 3 bonds, and that's definitely different than what they're doing here, which is cool.
Yep. Yeah, again, bonds now are like, to give Doyce an example that he'll get. Bonds in this game are now super bonds from Ironsworn.
Oh, which I need to go back and look at because I haven't even,
Because now they are, so now whenever you actually make a bond with somebody, your relationship with them evolves.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, so yeah.
You can bolster their influence, in which case anytime you make a roll with them, instead of adding +1, you now add +2.
Right, which is a thing I noticed, yeah.
Or you can expand what they do and give them a second roll. And so now, whenever you do, whenever your connection aids you to move On a move closely associated with their new role, add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit.
Right, if they're doing stuff to kind of help you out with that. That's really cool. I like the fact that, building up connections, it says a lot about the game that you end up playing when building up the connections and finding out stuff about the universe, like the discoveries and stuff, are both XP tracks.
Yep.
Right? That's cool.
Yeah. They definitely said for this, the Sean has said for this one, no, this is not a game purely where you just go around and solve people's problems. This is a game where you go around, solve people's problems, make friends with them, and also learn truths about the universe.
Randomly, the thought that occurs to me, and it's something that maybe just for us to kind of think about and ponder, is we have a great big ship, right? We have one. It's clearly meant to have a bigger crew than. I mean, thank God for Elgo, because it's a great big ship. It's a lot for just a few of us to be on. Since bonds are such a thing, and building up bonds takes some time, either we're bouncing back and forth through familiar systems with a regularity that lets us reconnect with people that we've met in the past, or we're accumulating a motley crew of people from this thing, anybody that, some people that we just like, or we're bringing along somebody, we're accumulating people that stay with us in the ship and kind of add to that.
So, plot twist, one of the reasons I proposed like the big asteroid ship is that we could do exactly that.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, that's I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And we just narratively, we're the ones that we want to start working on those bonds with and stuff like that are also people that want to see the bigger whatever. And they can add stuff to the ship and figure out I like the role thing. That's really cool.
So what I would like to suggest is that people put together before next week some suggested NPCs that they would love to see come along, and then we roll bonds, or we try to build bonds with some of those people.
Yeah.
And then this could be new NPCs that we haven't met before. This might be people that we've already encountered. Just basically anybody from any of these three communities that you think would be really neat.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
Actually, I'd forgotten that there was a ship thing that I was looking at buying as an advance, the internal refit, which would serve this purpose. So maybe I'll hold off on the other, save a tick for that. So
Cool.
those take 3, right? The ship one.
Getting a new one, yeah. If it's a new asset, then yeah, that takes 3.
Or, okay. I mean, like a module would be 3.
Yeah.
Yep. If it's an asset you don't already have, then yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, that is actually very nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the internal refit. I think they'd be perfect if we're talking about, since we've chosen such a big ship, and we're talking about, perhaps populating it with people.
What's it do?
Oh.
I'm not looking at it.
When you undertake an expedition, dangerous or greater, reroll any dice for the first leg of your journey. On a hit, you and your allies may envision how you make yourself at home. If you do, take +2 momentum or +1 spirit.
Like settling in for the trip. That's cool.
Also, its second benefit is also very fun. Your vessel is stocked with reserves. When you sacrifice resources and your supply is reduced to 0, first roll plus integrity instead of marking unprepared. On a strong hit, take +1 supply. Otherwise, mark unprepared.
Cool. Man, you could do some really.
Yeah, I'm thinking of some NPC potential people, and actually a couple of vows that would be, help kind of move my character towards this.
Yep, and if you make friends with them and you swear a vow to do something, like, I don't know, show them
clean up the junk room.
Yeah, show them the universe outside of their planet, that sort of thing. That's actually a mark on making a bond with them.
Very cool.
Very funny thing. Just going to them to get the bonus that you get on your roll, that also makes a check on that track.
Cool. What do you have to do to have them have a roll? Is that something we have to buy, or is it a?
No, that is an automatic thing.
Oh, so if they're an NPC in our thing, then they have a role that they play. That's awesome. That's really cool.
If they are I forgot what the name of it is already. If they're a connection, the first thing you do is you give them a roll,
Nice.
and then you give them you give them a roll, and then you give them also a difficulty level on how long it's going to take them to trust you.
Oh, gotcha.
I gotta get going, guys. This was really fun. Thank you very much.
Good stuff.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All
Yep. I definitely appreciated this one.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I've had to do so much today. I don't know if you were around for it when I was bitching about it earlier, but I had to do training today.
Oh, no, I was there. Yeah.
That was. Why do these people think I'm good at things?
Well, there you go.
As you are.
It worked out.
You've got great feedback, so.
I did get great feedback, but it's just like,
It doesn't mean you like it. It just means that you're good at it. The
Oh, yeah.
two are not, can be mutually exclusive.
I've been in that situation where you get to the end of the day and it's like, I just don't know how I'm going to pull this out of my hat. And, well, it worked. It worked great. So,
yeah.
good
So
stuff.
here's the funny thing. So, two things about the connections. One, their role can be whatever whatever makes sense for the NPC.
Nice.
The examples they give are shipwright, builds and repairs starships.
Sure.
An envoy can arrange introductions or help resolve disputes. Or an explorer has delved the depths of the forge and knows many of its secrets. Probably a little less likely given this setup.
From this location, yeah, but
Yeah.
there can still be
However,
other stuff.
The very next sentence after the examples, though, is like, oh, well, that's a thing. Connections are not shipmates or companions. They're independent characters whose own lives occasionally intersect with yours. You might accompany a connection on a specific mission, but you'll soon part ways as your duties and ambitions take you on separate paths.
So, how do you build up a bond if that's true? It seems like it's difficult unless you're coming back to them fairly regular.
One, I think it probably is a thing where, may it may take time in order to build it up.
Sure.
If they're only troublesome, you can check that after just doing two things.
True. Yeah.
Two, going back to the Mandalorian, how often did the Mandalorian go back to Navarro?
Yeah, that's exactly. And that's what I was thinking is we may be in a situation where we're just like, well, hey, we're coming back through Ferrous. Let's drop in and check. Let's resupply. Let's
Let's find out what new troubles they have.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
I'll definitely tell you.
Let's buy some skate poop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, actually.
What I probably should have done, and this is on me, when you guys were talking to these folks, first making your connections with them since they were the leaders of these particular areas, probably should have had you guys try to make some connections then.
That's okay. We can
Learning.
we can show it in a helping them get on their feet montage at the beginning of the next session, maybe.
Yeah, in which case we'll get you guys some checks on them.
Nice.
Retroactively.
Yeah.
Because you've done enough for them where if you had done the smart thing for the mechanics, you probably would already have like 2 or 3 or 4 checks with some
Sure.
of these people already.
Well, and that's just us that's us learning the system. And it's enough different. There's enough. It's not different from Iron Swarm, but there's enough new greebles.
Extra.
Yeah, it's interesting. Cool. Exciting.